Today, we're cracking the code on something that, well, trips up so many aspiring entrepreneurs. The business plan. It often feels like this massive mountain of paperwork, doesn't it?
It really can seem that way. But what if there's a surprisingly effective way to approach it, turning that mountain into something more like a clear, navigable path?
Exactly.
Our deep dive today is all about a specific, detailed business plan checklist.
Mm.
And it's about more than just ticking boxes for funding, right? It helps you craft a real blueprint for success,
Whether you're just starting out.
or willing to grow, or
Yeah.
even just trying to properly understand how a business actually works from the inside out.
Absolutely. So our mission today isn't just to read off what's on this checklist. We want to really dig into why each item is so important, not just for, getting a loan,
Right.
but for anyone looking to build, grow, or just get a better handle on a business. So, let's unpack this blueprint.
Okay, sounds good. Where do we start?
Let's kick things off with the executive summary.
Yeah.
People often call it the elevator pitch of the plan, but it feels like it needs to be more than just a quick snapshot, isn't it?
Oh, it absolutely is.
Mm.
The real insight here isn't just about being concise, though that's important. It's about making every single word really work hard for you. This isn't just something you tack on at the end. Actually, a lot of successful founders write this first
Oh, interesting. Why first?
because it forces you to distill your whole vision, your entire business idea into something. Well, compelling, an irresistible hook. Our checklist highlights the key things. Business name, of course. Then your core business concept and mission statement.
What you do and why it matters.
Exactly. Plus a brief overview of your products or services, a summary of your target market, key financial highlights like how much funding you need, expected profit.
The big numbers.
The big numbers, yeah. And your main business goals. You have to think, if someone reads only this page, what do they absolutely need to know and get excited about?
That makes sense. Writing it first to force that clarity. Okay, so once you've got that hook, that powerful summary,
Yeah.
then you get to tell the full story in the business description. This is where you add the depth.
Precisely. This is the detailed narrative that gives context to that summary. The checklist really pushes you here. A detailed description of the business and its purpose. The who, what, when, where, why of it all.
Fundamentals.
Right. Your legal structure, LLC, corporation, partnership. That has huge implications down the line. Taxes, liability. Then a solid industry analysis. Market size, trends, growth potential, basically setting the stage. But the real meat here, I think, is your unique selling proposition, your USP.
And a USP isn't just some marketing buzzword, is it? It needs real substance.
Far from it. Your USP is that one compelling reason a customer chooses you, not the other guy. It's your core differentiator. How you solve a specific problem better than anyone else. What makes you indispensable. This section also needs a more detailed vision, values, and mission statement, different from the brief concept in the summary.
Got it.
And crucially, it lists owners, the management team, and advisors. What's really interesting, and maybe a bit surprising on this checklist, is the specific mention of designer and contractor as essential personnel.
Yeah, why those specifically?
I think it highlights a shift. It acknowledges that the tangible execution, the actual making of the product or service, often needs these hands-on roles involved right from the start, not just an afterthought.
That's a great point. Thinking about the practical hands-on roles immediately makes it feel more real. Okay, so building on that description, we dive into market research and analysis. This is where the theory hits reality, right? Understanding your customers, your competitors. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, this section is foundational. It literally informs almost every other part of the plan.
Yeah.
Product, marketing, everything. You need to break down your target market. Demographics, age, location, income, but also psychographics.
Their values, their lifestyles, what makes them tick.
Exactly. What motivates them to buy? The checklist then asks a really critical question. Is there demand for this service?
Seems obvious, but maybe it isn't always.
Well, it sounds simple, but truly answering it means digging deep into customer needs, their buying habits. You have to validate your whole idea. Then you move into competitor analysis. Who else is out there? What are customers using now? What do competitors do well or not so well?
Finding the gaps.
Finding the gaps, yeah. This leads into assessing market demand and growth opportunities. Where's the potential? And of course, the classics, SWOT analysis.
Right, SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. A lot of people know the acronym. But how does this checklist suggest using it effectively, not just listing things out?
That's a great question. The insight isn't just listing them. It's understanding how they interact.
How they connect.
Yeah. How does a specific strength let you grab an opportunity your competitors can't? Or how might a weakness make a potential threat even worse? What's your plan for that? It's about strategy, not just making lists. This section also includes a proper risks and mitigation analysis, thinking about challenges and how you'll handle them. And finally, clearly stating your business advantages. What makes you defensible?
Makes sense. So you've dissected the market, you know your customers, your competitors. The next logical question is, who's going to make all this happen? The people. Which brings us to organization and management.
This is all about showcasing your team and the structure, the talent and the operational backbone. The checklist points to your business ownership structure. Who owns what? Clear from the start.
Right.
Then, identify key personnel and their roles. Detail the background and expertise of the owners and managers.
And this isn't just a list of names on a page, you know. It's your chance to really sell why these specific people are the right ones for the job.
Prove the team's capability. Exactly.
Yeah.
You also need a staffing plan and hiring strategy. How will you build out the team as you grow? And it includes your sales plan, plus the crucial technology and POS systems point of sale.
POS systems seem pretty standard now.
They are, but they're non-negotiable. Streamlining transactions, managing inventory, absolutely vital for modern business.
Okay, so we have the people and the structure. Now let's dive into the products or services, the actual thing the business offers. What are you selling?
Indeed. Time to get crystal clear on what you're bringing to market. The checklist specifies a clear description of products or services offered, exactly what the customer gets.
Features and benefits.
Right. You need to detail the features, what it is, and the benefits, what it does for the customer.
Yeah.
How does it solve their problem or add value?
That distinction is important.
Very. Then, your pricing strategy and rationale. Not just the price, but why that price makes sense, considering costs, value, what competitors charge. If it applies, you discuss research and development. And definitely your plans for innovation or expansion. How will your offerings evolve? How will you stay ahead?
So you've got this amazing product or service. How do you actually get it out there? How do you reach customers? That takes us to marketing and sales strategy.
This is your game plan for breaking into the market. Your battle plan, really. It starts with branding strategy. Logo, tagline, brand positioning, the overall identity. How do you want people to see you, to remember you?
The look and feel.
And the core message. Then you outline your marketing channels, social media, email, content, print ads. Where will you reach your audience? An advertising plan and budget is key. Where are you spending your marketing dollars and why?
Need to track that ROI.
Absolutely. Your sales strategy explains the how of converting leads, direct sales, e-commerce, partnerships, and something often overlooked but critical for the long run, customer retention strategies.
Keeping the customers you already have.
Exactly. Loyalty programs, special events, promotions. It's almost always cheaper to keep a customer than to find a new one.
Good point. Okay, next up is the operations plan. This sounds very practical, the day-to-day running of the business, where the rubber meets the road, right?
That's a perfect description.
Yeah.
This is all about efficiency and execution, how you deliver on your promises. The checklist covers the essentials, locations and facilities. Where will you operate? How does that space work? Equipment and technology needs. Everything from specialized machinery to computers to those POS systems we mentioned. If you sell physical goods, inventory management strategies are crucial.
Don't want too much cash tied up in stock.
Or run out when customers want to buy. It's a balancing act. Your supply chain and vendor relationships are also vital. Reliable sources for materials, services.
Keeps things running smoothly.
Definitely. And finally, documenting your day-to-day operational processes, mapping out how things actually get done step by step, order to fulfillment.
Okay, we've walked through the vision, the market, the team, the product, the marketing, the operations. But now we hit what many see as the Mount Everest of business plans, the financials. This section often feels incredibly daunting. How does this checklist help make it less intimidating? What does this all mean for the bottom line?
That's a perfect way to put it. And you're right, this is where people often get bogged down. The checklist helps by breaking it into smaller, interconnected pieces. It forces you to be comprehensive. Under general, you detail startup costs and your overall funding requirements. And crucially, your revenue model. How exactly will this business make money?
The core mechanism.
Precisely. Then you dive into detailed financial projections, profit and loss, P&L, cash flow, balance sheet, your best estimates for the future. A break-even analysis is key. When do you start actually making money? And identifying funding sources, loans, investors, personal savings, where's the cash coming from?
That's already a lot.
It is, but it gets more specific. Under forecasting, the checklist wants revenue forecast tables, monthly projected revenue, monthly projected expenses, and your net profit or loss projections per year. These are your forward-looking numbers based on all that market research and your sales plans. Under statements, you provide the formal reports, P&L statements, the balance sheet, cash flow statements, historical if you have them, projected if you don't.
What's the difference in what they show?
Good question. The P&L shows profitability over time. The balance sheet is a snapshot, assets, liabilities, equity at one specific moment. And cash flow tracks the actual cash moving in and out, arguably the most critical for survival day to day.
Right, cash is king.
Always. And finally, under financing, it demands clarity on use of funds, exactly how will you spend the money you raise. And source of funds, where did it come from? The sheer level of detail here ensures you've thought about every dollar, in and out.
That's incredibly thorough and absolutely essential. But what happens when things don't go according to that beautiful plan? That brings us to risk analysis and contingency plans, thinking ahead for trouble.
Absolutely. No business exists in a perfect bubble. Right. Acknowledging the potential problems actually makes your plan stronger, more resilient. This section requires you to identify potential risks. Market shifts, operational hiccups, financial crunches, a new competitor.
Things that could go wrong.
Exactly. Then you need to outline your risk mitigation strategies. What steps will you take now to reduce the chances of those risks happening or lessen their impact if they do? And finally, contingency plans. Your plan B. What do you do if things really go sideways? It shows you're not just wearing rose-tinted glasses. You've thought critically about the roadblocks.
Okay, almost there. To wrap it all up, we have the overall impression and the appendices, the polish and the proof.
Right, the finishing touches and the supporting evidence. Presentation really matters for the overall impression. This checklist specifically mentions formatting, thorough spell check, and using graphics effectively. Make it look professional, easy to read, visually engaging.
Don't let typos undermine all that hard work.
Exactly. And the appendices section is where you put all the backup, the proof behind your claims. Things like legal documents, licenses, permits, contracts, the raw market research data, maybe some charts and graphs, your detailed financial projections.
The nitty-gritty number.
Yep. Sample marketing materials. Resumes for your key team members. And interestingly, if it applies, sample menu or service offerings, and even mood boards.
Mood boards. And a business plan.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? It shows how deep a truly comprehensive plan goes. It's not just numbers and text. It's about capturing the vision, the feel, the brand consistency. Things that are sometimes hard to put into words alone.
Wow. Okay, we have journeyed through an incredibly detailed business plan checklist. From that first hook in the executive summary all the way to mood boards, it really shows just how much ground you need to cover to properly think through and explain a business idea.
It really does. And what's fascinating here, I think, is that the real value of doing all this work for you, the listener.
Yeah.
It isn't just about getting that yes from an investor or a bank.
It's more than just external validation.
Much more. It's an incredibly valuable internal strategy tool. It forces you, the entrepreneur, to think through every single aspect. It becomes a living guide for making decisions. Mapping all this out clarifies your vision, sure, but it also shines a light on potential blind spots you might have missed. It builds resilience right into the foundation of your venture.
It really is a blueprint for action, not just a document to file away. So here's a final thought for you to consider as we wrap up.
Yeah, this raises an important question, I think. We often see the business plan as this static thing you create once, mainly to get initial funding. But what if you viewed it differently? What if you treated it as a continuously evolving blueprint? How might that fundamentally change how you manage, adapt, and actually grow your business over the long haul?